Hello guys, today's story happened in Iraq, but it happened before the war. The details of the story are taking place before the war, during the war, and after the war. Couple unfortunate events happened to a very lucky family that has made it well in life, and where the dad was smart and successful, so he managed to have the same comfortable life before the war, during the war, and after the war. But one day the dad has been found dead. Who did it? How it happened? And it's all extreme drama, and I'm asking you to, again, buckle up for the story. I don't want to say of a lifetime, but there is absolutely a lot of lessons in it, and it shows the evil in human beings and also the goodness in them at the same time. Without any further suspense, let's start the story. Let's go. Hello guys, so the story starts with a mom and a dad. They married young. They had kids. Like any other family, they start a family, they marry young, they have kids right away. So first year was a girl, second year was a girl, third time was a girl, fourth time was a girl, fifth time was a girl, sixth time was a girl. And in that culture, as you know, polygamy is allowed, and this was one of the reasons men back in the days, if they want to have a boy, they keep thinking that the woman is the source of girls, so they marry another woman, and then on the intention to have a boy, so that carries the family name, so his family name doesn't get vanished. It get continued. That's how they thought, and it was one of the reasons people are allowed to have more than one wife back in the days. Now science proved that it's the woman. It's not the woman's responsibility; it's the man, because he has the chromosome of X and Y, while the women have only the XX. Anyway, so this family lived in Baghdad, one of the suburbs of Baghdad, and the father was really smart. He worked in selling and buying gold, so that was a really good source of income for him. And he lived happy in his life back in the days in Iraq when things were really good. Back in the days before the war, $4 were one dinar. Iraq was a really prosperous country. The economy was good. They have the latest technology. Even around them in the area, like the neighboring countries used to have contractors, Iraqi contractors, like teachers with the Iraqi government and Syrian government. They used to import teachers to teach the Gulf area kids math and English and physics and all these classes, because they were more advanced than them in science and technology, and the economy was really good up there. It was the beginning of civilizations, and it did affect everything in general. So Iraq was really prosperous, and he took advantage of that and did well in his life. So the only thing was bugging him is not having a son to carry his name. In that culture, again, maybe you don't know this, I should mention it. When you marry, you don't change your name. So women don't take the husband's name. Impossible. There is no way. It's not in the culture. There's no way to do it. You could change your name, and it's really difficult if it has a shameful, like your name is something related to a fart, for example. You have the right to change it. But to take your husband's name, they don't have that. So families don't get mixed, and to preserve the family tree, and so everybody knows his heritage and his family roots, because some of people have honorary roots where they are related to the Prophet himself. You say, how do we track this? It's trackable. They have their own ways. Names don't change. Even when there is an orphan center, you don't change the kid's name and put them in your name. As their name as they are there, you adopt them, but you don't change the name. So they don't get mixed, like a brother in the when years pass, a brother marry a sister, or they get mixed in blood. So it's really, I lived it, and I know for sure that that's the right way to do it. They don't change name. The bottom line, it's difficult to change name, so everybody reserves their name. So he has to have a son. He spoke with his wife, and of course, no woman want to share her man, but what can she do? So because she loves him and she knows his reasons, and it's allowed in the faith and in the acceptable in the culture, and he's not doing it because she's not enough, and he confirmed that to her and confirmed his love to her. So she said, okay. The guy married another nice woman. They lived all of them together at the same house. Ironically, the man, first wife and second wife, got pregnant at the same time. And both of them had boys, but the first wife had a boy before the second wife. So the first wife had a son, and he called him Ishmael. And the second wife, after like 3 months, she had her baby boy, and they called him Hassan. So now he has Ishmael and Hassan, and whose life cannot be better than this. Days passed, years passed, and this was like in the early 80s. And it's the 90s, it's the 2000, and then the war broke in 2003. At that time, his business was really flourishing. He had like 3, 4, 5 branches for his gold trading shops, like Dubai style. They have that. So he did really well to the point that he has opened different branches. Actually, his Ishmael, his son, was all in. He got trained in that. He's now experienced in selling and buying gold. He never want to deviate from anything. His other son, Hussein, was a little bit a rebellious one. He said, if we're successful in this business, why don't we start another one and see how we are doing? His dad told him, why are you want to take risky steps? We are doing very well in this business. We are making so much money. We better stick to it. Well, why do you want to change it? And against his will, of course, because he doesn't have the capital, Hassan adhered to his dad well and just moved on. But deep inside his heart, he wasn't happy. He wanted to do his own thing and be independent, which is understandable. Now 2003, and the war broke, and he couldn't continue staying in the country. It was really dangerous. People want to buy food. Nobody cares about gold. A lot of people in the community, in his family, in the town, moved to Turkey because it was the only country around them that had her borders open. And this is also a controversial topic. A lot of people are asking why neighboring countries didn't welcome refugees from Iraq, because they weren't the cause of this war. So they thought it's unfair to have all these immigrants, that those countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar are not equipped to have that much sudden massive number of immigrants. The country will collapse, the economy will collapse. So they told whoever started this war, they should take care of that. And that's what happened. So a lot of these people moved to Turkey, Syria, to Europe, to America, some of them in Africa, some of them in Asia, but I know the neighboring countries up north where they moved. And so this guy, because he has a community there, it became like Detroit. You see how Detroit has a massive Arabic community because of the war in Lebanon and what so on. One moves in and he brings his family, then his neighbors, and then it become an Arabic community of refugees. The same happened in Turkey. So there are spots or towns where it's full of Iraqis. That man moved there, and he has already his community, his family, his relatives, and life was wonderful. Years passed, and now it's 2016. Or maybe before that a little bit, I forgot the date. But it was around that time. And now the father is getting old. Now the father is almost 60 years old, and the kids are in their 30s or maybe late 30s, I don't know. During that time, his first wife passed away, so his second wife took care of the family, and one day his second wife got sick, and she had to go to the hospital, and she had like a terminal disease, because she's older in her age too, probably she's close to the 60s, so, and she stayed probably 21 days and had to have a surgery, so the house was empty. And as I told you, this culture, they cannot live without a woman. Women have a very massive role in the house. They keep peace, they keep the family together, they cook, they take care of the kids. And most of his girls are married, they have their own life and they have their own kids, so it's only Ishmael and Hassan and the second wife and the dad. Now the dad thought his kids are of an age to get married, and they settled in Turkey. They have the business is booming. They are still did the same business with it, which is buying and selling gold. Again, the same desire have been tickling Hassan, the second boy, head, and he tried to break away from them and suggest another business like opening a restaurant or doing a trading business or exporting, importing business, but they refused. They said, no, we will stick to the gold. So he kind of was a rebellion, not in his dad's side. So the dad was fully in, the Ishmael, the first son, was fully in with the dad. So the dad trusted him and he was closer to the dad. The dad has to sit down with both of the kids when his second wife stayed longer in the hospital and the house was empty without a female. The dad says, why don't you guys get married? You're of an age of a marriage and you should start a family. We need a woman in the house anyway. The first son, he said, yeah, sure, Dad, absolutely. I'm open for it. We just need to find the right girl. And Hassan completely shut the door closed. He want to just be free and want to establish himself, and he wasn't in a rush to start a family or get married. So, of course, that again was in favor of in the books for Ishmael, and it made him closer, even closer to his dad. Ishmael, his dad, told him, hey, I see this girl. Her name is Zabir, and she's a nurse, and she's a young girl. She's probably 21. She still goes to nursing school, and she was having her training in the hospital, and she was taking care of their mom, of the second wife, Hassan mom, after her surgery. So she attracted the father attention, and he noticed her, that she was really sweet and nice, and she was really pretty. And she was also the same immigrant, and she started a life in Turkey, and she was working hard to finish her education. So the dad talked to her and told her, hey, my daughter, she's not his daughter, but that's the way how they talk to each other. Usually if you are older, the people call you uncle, even if you're not their uncle. And if the kids are young, you call them my daughter, my son, even if they are not really your kids. Hey, my daughter, I see how nice you are. I have a son who we are looking for a bride for him. Please talk to your family. Are you single? She said, yeah, I am single. He told her, can you talk with your family? We want to come over officially and see if you guys, we want to become closer to you and become family. She told him, okay, I'm going to tell them. But the girl herself, she didn't get back to the father quickly. Usually, you ask your family, the family say welcome him. Next day or second day, you just tell the guy family, hey, you are welcome, come over. She took a week or two. She took really long time, and the dad was concerned. So since she didn't get back to him, he told her, what's going on, dear? Your family said no. She said, no, I don't think I'm ready to get married now. I want to finish my education, get a job, blah, blah, blah. The usual. Sorry. He told her, dear, I'm so wealthy. We trade, we buy and sell gold. We are really comfortable. You don't even need to get a job. If you want to finish your education, you are welcome, but you don't have to work. at all with us. We have a mansion, we live in a big house, it's empty, it's all yours. So she told him, okay, I'm gonna talk to my family. And she did talk to her family and got back to him again really late, like after a week, which was really weird. And later on, I'm telling you these details because later in the story you will know why, what's going on with her. They dated a little bit. The guy, Ishmael, met Abir, and they liked each other. So she approved the marriage and told him, okay, you can come officially and ask for marriage. And the father of Ishmael and Ishmael went and asked her for marriage officially. They got married in a very nice wedding. They lived an amazing life. She finished her education and started working in the same hospital. During that time, Ishmael's father was getting really sick and they didn't know what's going on with him. So they rushed him to the emergency room because he used to be a tough guy, alpha male, and got out of war and raised 2 families from 2 women. So he didn't want to go to the hospital until one day he collapsed. They took him to the emergency room. The hospital said he needs dialysis, he needs medications, he has a kidney failure. Oh my God, and that changed their lives completely because the father now has to quit his work, has to stay at home, has to do dialysis, he needs injections and somebody to take care of him at home. And of course, who was there? Abir, because she was a nurse. She knows all these things. They don't need to hire anybody, or especially that the father hated hospitals so much. He asked the hospital to release him, and he preferred to have a home care. And of course, Abir was there to give him his injections or diabetic injections and take care of him. And he would just go to the hospital to do the dialysis. Long story short, Ishmael was working with his gold business. His brother was working with him, but he wasn't fully in because it shows in his face and body language that he want to start his own thing. The father continued his appointments and Abir took care of him, but they didn't have kids. Still, a year passed or 2 and they didn't have kids because she had it in the marriage contract. In the Islamic faith, before you get married, like when you write the official document, they do it first in the mosque, like you guys do it in the church. They do it in the mosque. And at that point of signing that marriage contract, you have to put your terms and conditions. A lot of girls say, hey, I want to put it as a term and condition that I want to finish my education. Second thing, I want to work. Third thing, if divorce happened, I want to get paid $10,000 or $5,000 as a help. If it was my fault, he doesn't have to pay anything and stuff like that. So whatever you write, it has to be written at that day before in the contract, in the marriage contract, before they take it after that to the government to document it and save it. But it has to happen in the mosque with the sheikh or religious person. And 2 witnesses has to be there. These are terms and conditions of a marriage in the Islamic culture. So it's very easy to get married, and it's the same way it's very easy to get divorced. You don't have to go to court. You don't have to do anything. There is no drama. Unless there is something going on, then you seek the help of the government and file for a case. There are cases that happen with most people. Marry at home and divorce at home. It's very easy. In the mosque, I mean. So at that point, she wrote when they got married in the mosque, she wrote it in her marriage contract that they don't want to have kids quickly because you want to finish her education and start working a little bit, then they can have kids. So until now, none of them had kids, Ishmael and Abir. So she was fully there to take care of his dad and working in the hospital. One day they woke up, and the dad didn't wake up, and Abir. I think the kids usually, when they wake up, Hassan and Ishmael, when they wake up from their sleep, immediately they go and check on their dad. How is he doing? If he needs anything, they prepare breakfast for him. That day, Ishmael and Hassan went to say good morning to their dad and take care of him, and he wouldn't wake up. Oh my God, they thought he has like a diabetic coma episode, or something is wrong with his kidneys. They rushed him to the emergency room, and the emergency room told him he's dead. Oh my God, that was a disaster on the kids, because he was like the pillar of the house. After Ishmael's mom died, and he took care of the family when the war happened. So it was really a massive event suddenly to happen on them. They weren't ready for his death. But what they can do, life move on. Ishmael continued working in the gold industry. Abir was working in the hospital. Hassan, at that point, thought it's a massive opportunity, and that's the time when he said, I want to break away. I want to take my share and break away and start my own business. I don't want to be in gold business. I never liked it. I don't want to be in it anymore. I want to be in the touring business, because Turkey is a very touristy country. So he thought that that's the best business that he can jump in, and he was good at it. He loves the traveling. He has a bubbly personality, not like his brother. He was more adventurous, Hassan. Long story short, of course, Ishmael refused. He said it's going to affect the family business. The business might collapse. And of course, the dad has everything signed to Ishmael's name and not Hassan's name. So Hassan couldn't do anything. And Ishmael refused to give him his share. He told him, I'm going to give you some money from the profit with time, but I cannot break the business. It's the family business. We spent decades building it, and I don't want to break it now. It's going to affect it so bad. Hassan started threatening Ishmael that he's going to seek the law, and he told him, hey, I'm gonna seek the court, and I'll get what I get my money. Of course, they were foreigners in a foreign country, and the court cannot do anything. No matter where you go, if the country is Islamic, they follow the Islamic law, so it doesn't make a difference. But since everything is under Ishmael's name, they cannot take it away because it's under his name. So he lost his case. They started fighting. They were angry so much at each other to the point that Hassan left the house for 2 days, and he want to be independent and want to break away from his brother and do his own thing. And Abir was seeing all that. Anyway, after he lost the case, he want to go and work, and he left the job. He stopped going to the jewelry shop or the gold shop with his brother to sell anything, and then he started his own thing in a not own thing. He got a official job. He started working 9 to 5 job just to make some money and start his own thing, and that made tension between the brothers, so they stopped seeing each other or talking to each other. One day, probably after 3-4 days, and probably I should explain that even in Iraq at those days, just for safety, usually they don't do that. When you go to Dubai, they put just gates and they close the shop. Nobody pack the gold and put it in bags and take it home for safety. They just close the doors and the gold is still inside the store. Nobody takes it. It's really secured, and they close the doors very well, and they put probably a gate or whatever. But Ishmael and his dad and his brother had a habit. They pack everything in bags and they take it home. They don't trust leaving it in the store. So the same process of doing business in Iraq, they continued doing the same thing in Turkey. At the end of the day, they would pack the gold and put it in bags, and Ishmael would take care of that and take it to his house, to the basement. Sorry. Same thing like every day. He packed the gold and took it home and took it to the basement and went to probably get food or whatever. And Abir was at work. And suddenly Ishmael received a phone call, and Abir was screaming, oh my God, the house is destroyed. The window is broken. Somebody broke into the house. I don't feel safe being in the house. Please come back quickly and call the police in your way. Ishmael told her, I'll call them, but you call them too. I'm in my way. I'm coming now. It was around probably 8 o'clock at night or 9. And when he walked in, the house was fine. Nothing is being stolen except the gold bags. The window was broken, which indicates that somebody broke in. And the bags of gold are gone. He lost his mind. Oh my God, how did this happen? Who knew we have bags of gold? This must be somebody that knows them. And even the police said so when they showed up. Do you have beef with anybody? Are you suspecting anybody? So he told them, yeah, I had a fight with my brother 3 days ago over the inheritance of the family. And I refused to give him anything, so probably he did it, which was horrible. So the police, of course, went and arrested Hassan and started to interrogate him, but Hassan has a good alibi. Hassan was at work, and he has a proof that he was at work and never left. So Hassan automatically was out of the picture, and there are no clues. They looked into the fingerprints. The Turkey authority was really good, so they took care of the matter. They lifted the fingerprints. They looked into them, and they couldn't find any strange fingerprints. So it was a fully successful crime. The thief really knew what he's doing. He never left any fingerprints. He escaped with a massive amount of gold, like unreal amount of gold from 3-4 shops. And the police says they will continue the investigation. Of course, they questioned Abir. Abir said she's at work. And, or not at work. She told them she was somewhere like shopping for grocery or whatever. Because if she was at work, she has to prove that. But she said she was in grocery shopping or somewhere. And probably weeks passed and months passed, and of course the mentality and the demeanor of Ishmael changed. He became aggressive, he became angry all the time. He lost his entire family wealth that they spent decades making it. Nothing is left, it's all gone. He now doesn't have a job, doesn't have a store. So of course it affected his relationship with his wife. He became angry and he put all his anger on her. Of course she took advantage of that. And now you will see the type of personality this girl have. And now you will know why she took so long to get back to the dad when he asked her for marriage for his son. She stated she had a lover, actually, and that's why she never got back to him quickly. She had somebody that she loved in Iraq, and that he moved with them to Turkey and with the same community because they were all from the same town. And she never told him. So she had, because Ishmael is wealthy, she had her eyes on the money. She thought she can get some money and divorce him and go back to her lover. Because she came from humble origins, and also her lover too was a loser. So that being said, the police, and of course Ishmael and his brother and the dad, none of them knew about all this. But when the police interrogate her and they asked her, where have you been? She said, I have been grocery shopping or whatever. And they said, yeah, sure. But deep inside them, they have doubts because of her body language. She was so defensive. She was talking too much. So they walked away like they believed what she was saying. I think weeks passed and months passed. And eventually she asked divorce from Ishmael right away after the event. She asked for a divorce. And so she left. And Ishmael was moving on with his life, and his whole life like collapsed. And he has to start from scratch. When one day he received a phone call from the Turkish authority telling him that they have found the thief. He said, impossible, how did you do that? You have no clues and nothing. And the police told him, you have to come to the police station, you and your brother. And it's really important. There are more details than just the theft matter. And because they already have done everything and they catch the criminal. So what happened is that the Turkish authority, because they are really good, they were watching. Even if there is no crime, have really good security system. They watch people bank accounts, just because of the terrorist stuff, and they want to keep order in the country, and they want to see if who does money laundering or whatever, even with their own nation, probably. I think good countries do that for security reasons. So after the crime happened, they were monitoring Hassan's bank account. Maybe Ishmael was lying because some people want insurance or they do commit fraud or stuff like that. So they were watching also Ishmael's bank account and Abir's bank account. And guess what? After she stole the gold, she went back to her lover and divorced Ishmael. She went back to her lover telling him that she won. The plan, whatever they planned, because she planned all this with him before she gets married. The plan succeeded. We got the gold, and now they have to sell it. So she went to different gold shops every day, selling massive amount of gold, telling them, "Oh, this is my dowry." If you are new to my channel, the entire Islamic world, if you have a Muslim faith, you cannot marry a woman before paying a dowry. Dowry. You have to pay agreed upon amount of money, and that's vary from a culture to a culture, from a family class to a family class. If the girl from a well-known family name, she's educated, she's from a good family name, usually it's higher. But the faith encouraged that it's that the family don't do that, like make it higher and higher and higher, so it's hard for the guy to even marry, because it became so expensive. The faith itself encouraged people to have it as symbolic number or symbolic price, just to help the girl prepare for her life, buy clothes, buy stuff, necessary things. In most cases, the girl doesn't buy anything with it. They buy gold. They buy bags of gold because it's considered as investment. So if time passed and the two newly wedding couples want to buy a house, or if a disaster happened in the family, they have something to fall on, which is that bag of gold. So it's a tradition. All girls buy gold, massive amount of gold. So she approached all these gold shops, claiming that she got divorced and she want to sell her dowry. So there was a lot amount of money coming her in her bank account in a lump sum from different accounts. The dumb girl did that with like 20, 30 of them because she has a lot of money, bags of gold. And the police was wondering why this woman have this much money and she's just a nurse. Where does all that cash come from? Why these accounts keep wiring him this big amount of money? So they suspect terrorism or something. So they called her to the police station to interrogate her. And of course they found out she told them the same story. I have my dowry and I'm selling it. I got divorced. But of course they have her name in the records that she was a witness in a theft case. And under pressure, of course she wouldn't tell everything. Under pressure, she said, she accused her lover of doing it. She said, I didn't steal it. My lover broke in and he did it, all of it. She threw him under the bus because she got so scared. She knew that she cannot escape the law. She got caught. It's done. There is a proof, bank accounts. And even when she said, oh, it's my diary, I sold it, they pretended like, oh, yeah, okay, we believe you. But behind her back, the police officers went to those bank accounts where the wiring came from, and they questioned the accounts, and they found that they are all came from one business, which is the gold business. So something is shady going on because she doesn't have a gold shop. She's not registered as a jewelry trader in Turkey. And that's when they called her to question her. And nothing adds up. And then they found out that she's a part of another case, of a theft case. So that's when they called Ishmael and his brother Hassan. At that point, everything got revealed. And Ishmael and Hassan knew about what his wife did, and he was extremely shocked that she did that because she looked sweet and nice and she never gave any sign. She played the game very well with him until she got the divorce. The disaster here, and that's when you need to buckle up, she even went further than that, and she was actually, the police told Ishmael that she is now being charged not of a theft only, she's being charged for murder. She is the one who killed their father. Ishmael said, no, my father died because he has kidney failure. The police says, no, she told us that she injected him with something like a specific medicine that stopped his heart. So she said that she was planning to get rid of you and get rid of, after getting rid of the father, she was going to do the same, but you had a fight with your brother and that situation saved her from killing you, so she asked for divorce and escaped the whole house and the whole situation. Otherwise, you were next and your brother was next. Who did that? Because the two thieves were fighting with each other since she threw her lover under the bus. He started telling the police the whole plan, the real plan, and that she killed the old man. Oh my God. And the whole thing got revealed, and she got sentenced to death, of course, because a soul is for a soul. And her lover was got into prison, and Ishmael got his money back. And that's the end of our story. Hope you liked it. And yeah, I'm going to answer your questions if you have any questions in the comment part. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and like. Take care until our next story. Bye-bye. And peace and love your way, guys.